All right, so this is probably like super rare. Well, probably the third video I'm posting, but this is actually a match of mine for tournament in Central. It was me versus Arcanine, so John for the finals. I'm pretty sure I've posted Arcanine here before in like a video a couple months back, but this was a really fun match. Um, I'll just let you guys go through it, and I'll give like my thought process of every single turn I made. I might forget what I did and say the wrong thing, so just kind of keep that in mind. But let me turn this music off. Music's off and slow. I'm not gonna do dark mode because that's like a little too dark. All right, let's switch sides. Okay, so I led Lando, and just because like I'm Scarf Lando, just because I felt like it would be like a quick U-turn, but he led Faramosa, and I honestly was worried that he would have Scarf Mosa, so I hard switched out into Toxapex, I believe. Yeah, and then Toxapex just eats the Ice Beam, and I think at this point I probably went for, and then I clicked Toxic just to get off of Toxic, just to poison something, because it's just residual damage in the end. Can't stay in, so and that's when he doubled. So he expected me to go into Pharaoh, and then I basically had to retreat after that, go back into Toxapex, Flamethrower, eat that, and then I go for a Scald, and this is what kind of like really annoyed me. This Blissey, because Blissey was carrying you'll see, carrying aromatherapy, so that kind of, it still crippled some mons, but it was kind of annoying to see that. And then I'll show you Side Shot because basically, I was specs with Oh, I thought I paused it. I was specs, so Psyshock pretty much hit everything on that team like super hard. Like specs, Psyshock, and the terrain. That was just going to like mess everything up that switched in. And you saw it like nearly killed Coco. And then vote switches. And that's the best play. He goes in Dragapult. And then at this point, this is where, yeah, hacks kind of took precedent. I'm not sure if Fire Blast would have killed, but it still sucked because, as you'll see later on, like Pharaoh was pretty needed for my team, and him missing that Fire Blast really sucked. And then I pop with a Gyro Ball, and then I go into my Moltres just because I expected him to go for Fire Blast again, but he D dances, and then I'm a bulkier Moltres build, so I kind of took that. And then Scorching Sands just gets the kill on the Dragapult. Then he goes into Mosa. Obviously, I got to go back into Toxapex. Once again, eat the Ice Beam. He goes to Swampert. Yeah, at this point, it's just like I just click Toxic on everything just to get, like I said, residual damage. And then I immediately go back out in Ferrothorn because Ferro, and that's one of the reasons why, like, my Ferro not dying to the Fire Blast really is, like, really important. And then he sends out Top Coco. I get up rocks. And he roosted here, which was like a ballsy play. And I missed the Leech Seed. And he roosted again. I honestly should have probably went for Gyro Ball. I'm not sure how much it would have done, but probably done a good bit. He goes back to Moltres. And then my Gyro Ball hits. I'm so lucky I didn't get burned. And then go Toxapex. And then I think at this point I went for Recover just because like I knew I could survive it. Like another hit. I think it's like a 3-hit KO, but I didn't want to get into that range of like 35%. Because then I'd be forced to either switch or sack it. And he goes back into that. I roost it. I go to Taco Lele. He thunderbolts, and I mean, like I go for Psy Shock again, and I just like clear it out. I mean, I'm paired, but I mean, it's it is what I could have sacked him there. Honestly, he goes to Pex. Like I said, Chip, Rocky Helmet damage really came in clutch there. He goes back to Blissey. And I think I've got something toxic at this point, so I think he goes for aromatherapy again. Yeah. And then I go into Pharaoh because like he really doesn't have anything to switch in. And then I get a leech seed up, get off some more chip damage. He goes to swamp. I go Pharaoh. And he goes EQ. And that EQ did like 27%. I got his rocks up. I get my rocks up. And flip turn. Like residual damage is like so key here. He goes Moltres. I get a seed up, get some more residual damage off. Even though he can roost it off, it's still residual damage is residual damage and causes decisions later on. Flamethrower, Leech Seed damage, which I don't mind whatsoever. He goes into Swampert again. I personally wouldn't have switched Swampert into an incoming Scald just because like you don't want that thing burned. But I think because he had Blissey, he was willing to be a little more reckless. And then he doubled. I mean, I'm not really was predicting me doubles just because like I could play it safe. He needed to play more aggressively than I did. Goes for close combat. And once again, like all I need to do is click Scald. Yeah, because I mean he has to switch out. I'm surprised he didn't go into Blissey to be honest. Because I mean I would have been forced to switch out. Well, one of us would have. It would just kind of like been like a long kind of like stalemate. For the Scorching Sands, and I that burn really sucked because if I didn't recover here, I would have had to like force myself out. And he goes for a roost. I think I clicked Toxic again. Basically, I did Toxic again to kind of put him on a timer. And he goes for Defog. So, I mean, Defog was like the safest play for him, really. He goes Blissey. Blissey catches a Scald, which literally did no damage. And then I go Pharaoh. And like I say, he just needs to do aromatherapy. That's why he's kind of reckless, like switching into certain like scalds and stuff. And that's when I think, did I double here? Yes, I did, because I was going to expect him to do that, so I doubled and I wanted to click Stone Edge, just in case he might have thought like I wouldn't, just in case he expected me to U-turn and like try to inflict me with like the Flame Body. I had Stone Edge prepared. He EQs right here, and another Earthquake, and that one did kind of put me in that range where I didn't really like it. Because like I said, Pharaoh leaving really hurts me. Well, not so much now, but I mean, it's still I lose a pivot, and then I switch in Landorus to EQ, and then I think, yeah, I clicked U-turn, and I go into Pex because I knew that he was gonna like flip turn, yeah, and get more of that like chip damage off. Then it's like the same mode, like he goes in Moltres, and it's like Scorching Sands time. What I mean, he defogs here first, but I mean, it's that same matchup from before. Toxic again to put him on a timer. I know people are gonna be annoyed because I'm people are gonna be pissed because I'm using Toxic and shit, but I mean, oh well. But yeah, I think I recovered here. Yeah, just feel like that. I just want to put him on a timer. Think about Delando and like because I knew the aromatherapy was coming, and I knock off, got rid of his boots, seismic toss, and at that point, since he had boots gone, I mean, he forfeit there because it would have. It, I still safely kind of had the win, but when he lost boots, it kind of like reduced Blissy's longevity, and plus like making the game go any longer would have just like sucked for both of us because it would probably been like another like 30 turns, honestly. Just because there's nothing that just outright kills, just like a lot of wearing down. But that was game one. Like I said, really fun against John. And then this is game two. And then as you see, he's got, I mean, and this was like we made these teams like borrowed teams because like we were scheduled to play the day before, right when Zygarde got banned. So that's why I mean, like the teams I had never used before. And then I mean, as you see, I've got Pheromosa, Latios, X-Drill, Rotom Watch, which I ain't used in forever, Moltres, Urshifu, Single Strike, and then he's got Chomp, um, Toxapex, Buzzwole, which is really good and was very good when Zygarde was around, Blissey, Zapdos, and Spectier. Switch sides. Slow. Let music off. All right. So he leads Zapdos. I lead Rotom. And he vote switches. And then obviously Rotom lures in the Blissey. And I mean, John's going to hate me for this, but I mean, this is where the fun happens. So let me stop this. So I'm running a, you can't see it, but I'm running a special Pheromosa, and you'll see. And I Quiver Dance. And at this point, he really has no safe switch ins. Because, yeah, I hit Shockwave here, but because I'm +1, Zapdos, I mean, dies. And then the Beast Boost, I'm +2 now. And he goes into the Spectier. I ran a calc because I wasn't sure, but Darius jumped in and was like, yeah, man, it kills. I didn't think it did. And then Toxapex comes in, and I Shockwave here. Yeah, I mean, you kind of see where it's going. I mean, obviously, I missed the first Focus Blast. That's why it's Focus Miss. And then I catch a Seismic Toss. And then I I pretty much win there because, I mean, I've got enough for 2 Life Orb hits. And then I'm pretty sure Ice Beam just, like, OHKOs, like, everything else. And, like, the funny thing is, like, I'm really not too fond of this set. This is a set Darius had. And I was going to change this to the Scarf set because I really like that set better, like more. That's the set I use on most like most of the teams. But overall, I mean, great game. I mean, the bug one. I mean, these are my first time. Like, this is the first tournament I've won in like literally years. Like, and I mean, it was fun just to kind of get everything back going. But that was it. I mean, it was GG's for John. I mean, great games all around. But that is all.